How are we doing today? Good. Well, I think the number one thing we want to focus on is, I know people have kind of written us off to some degree, but at the same time, I think we have a lot of pride as an organization. I think we need to get focused on, what it takes to win games. Play the game, win the game, prepare for the game. Know you're going to go into the game with confidence and understanding of what you need to do to be able to have success at your position, which is something that we need to do a better job of as coaches, so the players feel that way in the game. I think, one of the things, we've had 4 games that have come down basically to the last play of the game. We won 2 of them, we lost 2 of them by a total of 4 points, and we didn't execute down the stretch the way we need to. So I don't know what that is, but we got to get away from that because great players, great competitors, they rise to the occasion and make the plays they need to make in the critical times in the game when your best is needed. And certainly we need to do a better job of that. I think it's a challenge for all of us to, have pride. We're going to play a good team this week, and I'm sure they're going to want to, put up on their mantle, we beat Alabama too. So it's just a matter of, whether we're going to allow that to happen or we're going to go do everything we can to avoid it. Because, Ole Miss has a really good team. Lane's done a great job there. They're one of the best running teams in the country. They won 8 games. They're really, really good all the way around. They play good on defense. They're hard to score on. They've got really good players, good running backs, good receivers, quarterbacks playing well for them. They're aggressive on defense. And they play good on special teams. So this is a really good team. They wouldn't have won 8 games. They wouldn't be 8-1 now if they weren't a really good team. So we got to get ready for the challenge.
Start with Nick.
What are some of the themes of a Lane Kiffin offensive system that you've seen over the past couple of years?
Well, they do a really good job with formation multiples, motions, trying to get the defense to adjust. And then they're basically running, they've got really good running plays, but they're running those same plays out of all those different multiples, which trying to put different players in different positions. So you make a mistake, you have a gap open, and they hit a play on you. So this is one of those, got to have 11 guys on the same page doing the right things, or they're going to find a way to get to you. They make a lot of explosive plays in the passing game because they're a very good running team, which is not, abnormal because of the way you got to play to stop the run. They do a good job of taking shots off of those running plays. So that's what makes it, very difficult.
Michael.
How would you assess the overall body of work for this Alabama offense and the job that Bill O'Brien's done?
Look, there's things that we need to do better in every part of our organization. I'm not going to analyze somebody publicly, good, bad, or indifferent. We're all working hard together. We're all responsible for, what we do. Do we need to play better on both sides of the ball? Absolutely. We got to play better up front. We got to make less mistakes, overall organizationally. And there's not a coach or a player in this organization that can't do things better, to help our players have a better chance to be successful. And I think the players themselves also have to be accountable and go out there and do things that they're supposed to do, especially in critical times in the game.
Charlie.
You always talk about playing to the Alabama standard. Is there maybe something you can pinpoint with this team that maybe they haven't lived up to that quite?
Well, first of all, I don't think it's really fair to the team to create the kind of expectations that get created, for the team before they ever have a body of work. But that's kind of the nature of the beast in this day and age. I think being able to handle that, not putting pressure on yourself to try to live up to that expectation, sort of creates a lot of anxiety in some cases. You put pressure on yourself whatever it is, which means you're really focused on outcomes, not process. And I think that's the biggest thing that we got to get our players back to do. When I say you got to focus on what it takes to win and enjoy winning, that's what I'm talking about. Not the pressure to win and then the relief when you win rather than the joy that you won. There's a difference in all that. And I think I'm not blaming anybody for it. It is what it is. All right, but you got to be able to handle that and not let it affect you. And I've done, I guess, a pretty average job of getting our players out of that mode. You know, the pyramid downstairs doesn't say win the SEC championship. It doesn't say win the national championship. It says be a champion. And these are the things that you have to do to be a champion. And if you can do those things, you have a chance to win a championship. All right, so if your focus is on the championship, then are you really focused on doing the things you need to do to get there? And I would say that's the thing that we need to do a better job of focusing on.
Chase, stay up front here. All right.
Last week, you mentioned some of the limitations that Bryce has had in practice with the shoulder. Can you give us a sense of how he felt going into and coming out of the LSU game?
Yeah, well, all indications in terms of what he says to us, to me, to the medical staff is that he feels good, that he's fine. I guess you would have to ask him to really get a sense of how he feels, but he is telling us that he is fine. He said he was fine in practice relative to what he did. And but look, we need to do a better job around Bryce. We got to protect him better. We can't let people push the pocket on him. We got to do a better job of running routes so that we have trust that people are going to do exactly what they're supposed to do. And then we got to read it out and throw it to the right guy. You know, that was the goal going into the game, and that's something that, you know, we all need to do a better job of.
Back on the left, Mike Rodak.
Will Anderson said he didn't feel the defense was fully locked into the defensive play calling. Just why do you think that was? And also, what were some of the mechanics that led to the 12 players being on the field for the final play? Or the final play with Malachi running off?
Yeah, well, we were in dime personnel because they had receivers in the game. And they went to 2 tight ends and 2 wide receivers, which we wanted to play that in regular. All right, so that's why we had to change personnel. We had to do it from the time they ran off the field, ran on the field, because they're over there in a huddle. All right, so, but it didn't affect, that wasn't the issue. We were lined up, we were ready to play, we played what we were supposed to play. We just needed to tackle the guy, you know, a yard shorter than what he made. So that wasn't an issue.
2 more, Kirk and then Tony.
Yes, Coach. There's perception out there, various perceptions as to what role coordinators play in the actual game performance. And I'm not talking about Alabama, but I'm talking about in general. And I wonder if there's your opinion of that, or if it's too complicated to quantify, maybe.
Well, you know, I hear every play that's called. I hear every defense that's called, and I have the right to veto every one of those things. So do I think coordinators are in an important position of leadership and have a huge impact in preparation, you know, for a game? I don't think there's any question about that. I don't think anybody would question that. But ultimately, the responsibility for what happens on the field, you know, comes down to me. Because I have the right when we're planning to say we need to do more of this or we need to do more of that. And also have the right to say we're doing too much, we're not doing enough, we're not taking advantage of this. Is this too complicated for the players? So that's all on me. Now, are we all responsible to some degree? I think anybody in a leadership role in the organization is responsible, and everybody has to be responsible and accountable for their role, and I've kind of defined those roles, but the ultimate responsibility is, with, whoever's in charge.
We're finished with time.
We didn't see Terry on against LSU. Just is there an update on his status?
He was sick. He had the flu. He missed Tuesday through Friday practice. Kind of got better, but hadn't practiced all week and was still feeling pretty weak. So that's the reason he didn't make the trip.
That's all we got, Coach.
All right, thank you.